Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 20, Episode 1 of Tainted Grail. We're playing from the Lost Night expansion. We just wrapped up Chapter number 1, and we're going to jump into Chapter number 2, Part 1. Before we do, let's do a little review of who we've got in gameplay. And you guys can always go back and check out the Season 1, the Chapter 1 in Season 19. We've got Sloan and Dagan both on the tabletop. We're also playing with the Tainted Grail, Echoes of the Past. It's kind of some backstory around the characters. So I thought I'd read from these. We did recently have Sloan and Dagan each have gained an encounter. So let's go ahead and read Dagan's memory 2 and Sloan's memory 2. And you can see these guys kind of in their setup. So we'll read those quickly and then we'll jump right into round number 1. So that'll give a little context. Here we are in Chapter 2. We've already found shelter in the mangrove huddles. Let's check out Sloan memory 2. So Sloan, will start out with his. It says, "Yet again you proved your worth, but you had to fight for it. Finding a way from a convoluted social situation. Why must you always do this? In your father's stories, it wasn't always like that. In past times, your family was respected. People listened to what your ancestors said. They followed your guidelines. They knew they were inferior, and the only way to prosper was to obey. It was simple, effective. The House of Roik was dozens and hundreds, maybe, under their protection. And there wasn't a single event in the whole history. There wasn't a single effect in the whole history where the people starved or experienced disaster beyond the frigid winter. But now, no one remembers those times. Everyone thinks you are an ordinary man, and you're not. You'll remind them about this every single time." That's Sloan. And let's look at Dagan number 2. "Such an abundance of food. It could have lasted 2 weeks or more if you didn't have to fight, run, or wander through frozen wastes. Come to think of it, you rarely went hungry. Even in the direst of times, you somehow managed to feed your folks in Mangrove Huddle. The butcher shops you inherited were small, and even after the luckiest hunt, trappers only brought you small enough meat to fill some of its shells. But you always managed to scrape by. Sometimes you prepared bone meal to sustain the settlement. Often you made do with skin and scraps you'd normally throw away, making cheap yet filling sausages. Sometimes you had to hide some of the wares from the rich people, so you can pass them to beggars or children. It wasn't particularly lucrative, but you were at least pleased no one died of hunger in your town. You wonder if your skills would be needed when you managed to fulfill your goal and find a reliable source of food for the huddle." Wow, this is great. So they've got some different stories. Sloan's a little bit more aristocratic. Dagan is a bit more a man of the people. Let's read the Chapter 2 setup, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. Pontos Fathom Hobbies is brought to you by the books that we produce. We've got the 6 volumes of August Moldenhauer and Giuseppe Balsamo's Cat2 journals out of Lovecraft's Providence, including The Hermeticism of Hastur, Genealogy of Cthulhu, Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, and also featuring our hardcover edition of the Cat2 journals. We've also got the 3 volumes of August Moldenhauer's Artificial Psychoanalysis Desiring Machines, also available in our hardcover edition. We've also got our podcast series featuring the Esoteric Saturn Mysteries, the Esoteric Dragon Mysteries, and also Alchemy and Anthroposophy in the Dune Saga, a deep dive into what makes Frank Herbert's Dune Saga resonate with us. We've got a special sponsor this month, Nereus Media, featuring Benson Magos' Flowing the Tears of the Flesh Android, and the Trump trilogy ending in The God Emperor Trump. Finally, we've got our newest offering, The Alchemical Courtship in the Dreamlands, taking place in Lovecraft's Dreamlands. Each volume takes place in a different Lovecraft city. Aimless in the dream city of Cellophase, Hope's Home in Iron Dome, Dalathleen, Stubborn Devotions in Thrawn with the Temple of Hypnos. Check out the bookstore link, check out our Patreon. Now back to our gameplay. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into Chapter 1, Part 1 setup. It says, "Rest for the body and mind. Place this card on top of the active quest pile. You're back in the place you set out from. After a short rest, you need to head north toward the settlement, beyond the twisted pathways, where you should be able to progress the tasks that drove you out of the huddle in the first place. Each character gains 1 free diplomacy deck advancement. Find your way to the northern part of the island through the twisted pathway. Hint, your character letter details your personal quest and what you're looking for in the north." Okay, so let's go and set this up. We'll grab a random event here. So our random event is Dense Mist. Each location without a settlement costs an additional point. We've got these extra characters on the board. I'm going to pull them off here. We had recently encountered the Weird Child and Wolf here. So these were in past encounters. We do have the Weird Stag here with this skulls protruding out of it up here in the north. We do need to find a way to advance. Oh, actually, we were in the Mangrove Huddle to start. So maybe we can continue our exploration there. Mangrove Huddle. Now that we're in chapter 2, perhaps we have different cues here. So it says, if you have secret card number 2, now we have secret card 24. Otherwise, choose one. Go to the meager market. Visit the warmth healer. Inquire about the surroundings. Let's see. That's 221. Okay, let's go ahead and say secret card dude. Otherwise, visit the market. Find the singer. Finish your food quest. Requires Degan in exactly 3 parts of the needed supply status. So let's see, does Degan have the needed supply status? Needed supplies. No, he does not have those, so we can't do that one. Let's just go to visit the meager market, verse 6. Just start somewhere. Okay, verse 6, it says, this town doesn't have a big market. People sell some necessities to other townfolk and nothing more. But you have excess food, everyone will buy it. Also, everyone is interested in goods from other cities, since storytellers who often brought trinkets from afar ceased their travels between the settlements. Haggle for better prices, reduced by 1 point. Sell food, pay 2 food to gain 1 wealth. Buy equipment. Sell equipment. Discard. So this is good to know. So we can always come back here and use the market. Okay, so let's just leave the market and we'll go back to let's inquire about the surroundings. You decide to speak with one of the trackers who has experienced women who once tried to go past the twisted pathways. And I think this is our goal, right? It says you must go beyond the twisted pathways. Okay. She tells you that east in the glimmering forest. Okay, east of the glimmering forest, a magical place was also the main food supply of the huddle. Some game can also be found in the twisted pathways. If you had replaced 202 with 282, go to verse 7. No, I didn't replace it with 2. This was 202 was the one we just replaced. Oh no, that was 201. Where's 202? 201. Oh, 202 is here. Perilous Chasms. Okay, we haven't replaced 202 yet, but that is the one north of here. So let's just leave that on the board. Otherwise, it says, so we haven't replaced it with 282 yet. Let's go to verse 5. You thank the huntress, but she stops you. One more thing. Beware the perilous chasms north of here. Should you enter, you'll only find injury and death. Exploration ends. Well, I think this is what our clue is. I think our clue is going to be to go to the perilous chasms at the end of this location. Correct? Okay, so I think that's going to wrap it up for round number 1. I guess we're going to have this encounter with this at some point, but we're going to make our way to the perilous chasm next turn. So we'll go ahead and take food. We will go ahead and, do we have the dream here? We can check out the Mangrove Dream quickly. Mangrove Dream gives us flipping the coin. We get the dream. We say, you see the court wizard raising a magical barrier around a giant tree growing out of the calm waters of the bay. The barrier covers the ships anchored in the foot of the tree, while the wizard works you and other knights distribute supplies and to settlers gathered on the shore. Each character has this dream and has more than 4 food, loses 1 food, and gains 1 rep. Then the character in his dream gains 1 health. Well, we're only going to clear out. We don't have that extra food that's there. So let's wrap up round number 1. We'll see you in the next round. Continue to explore chapter 2. Thanks for watching.